Bringing our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, former FBI special agent Brad Garrett. And Brad, let me begin with you. James Comey's in the New York Times today saying the FBI can do this in a week. We can handle this. Is he right?
We can handle some of it in a week. The problem, George, is if you're going to look at somebody who has a drinking problem potentially, and you want to look at his character, you want to look at individuals that he actually associated with in high school and college, I think it's unrealistic you could do that in a week.
It's not clear that they're looking at the drinking problem or whether he told the truth about it.
Right. The fundamental question now is, what exactly are they investigating? Are they investigating Dr. Ford's allegations and trying to assess, did that happen or not?
That's easy.
That's going to be relatively easy, yeah. Right? I mean, limited number of witnesses, limited number of questions, but are they investigating whether he lied in front of the Senate? That's a separate question, because then you get into all the various details about exactly what he said about his own drinking, about his yearbook, etc. And then you've got a much wider potential group of people you got to talk to.
Go ahead.
But you could do that, because when you do a background investigation, you look at honesty, temperament, and those things are
normal background.
Right.
Well, I realize that, George, but the point being is that there's a big argument that the FBI would not be able to go beyond sort of this interviewing for people, and I don't think that's accurate.
Well, what do they do, for example? We now have this professor in the New York Times, Chad Ludington, North Carolina State, who says he was a classmate of Brett Kavanaugh's, says he's not telling the truth about drinking. He says he's going to give that to the FBI. What do they do with it?
Well, I think they interview him, because that again goes to honesty. And here's a real key. Did Judge Kavanaugh, if this assault occurred, did he black out? Because if he blacked out, he may not remember that the assault occurred. What we know they're going to do is put this together into what they call these 302s, these reports of interviews. The question is then, what happens with that? Who gets it? Is it revealed to the public?
Right. So this is not a criminal investigation, the same way that the proceeding was not a criminal proceeding. And that means that they can't subpoena witnesses. They can't force people to answer their questions. They're not necessarily going to draw conclusions. With that said, when they hand over these 302s, and Brad knows this very well, they can certainly still leave open the questions that they haven't been able to answer. They can still give this over and make it clear that there are certain things that they still need to move forward with, that they're not getting enough of. And that's going to be very telling. So it's not just going to be, oh, here are the interviews we did, and here's what they said, and they're just going to they're just going to sort of recite everything that was said to them. That's not the way it works.
What would it say to you if the FBI did not interview people like Professor Ludington, saying, wait, that's outside the scope of what we have, even though information is being volunteered?
It's telling me they're going to stick to a script and stop after a week. But, George, I'm not convinced that they'll stop after a week. I think they might ask for more time, because let's face it, when you open up this can, a lot of other people come out, and people want to talk about this back in the day.
They may ask, but I'm not sure that they're going to get it.
Well, that's exactly right.
And the White House has control over that.
Of course they do, because it's a background investigation. This is not, as Dan pointed out, it's not a criminal investigation.
Brad Garrett, Dan Abrams, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.